Hi, this is Arline Welty. I'm a principal with DataQuest. I'll be taking you through the Sage CRM product today. So I was a system administrator of Sage CRM for 4 years before joining our consulting team. And now I'm a principal at DataQuest managing the Sage CRM practice since 2014. And over the years, I've really seen how successful it can make sales and customer service teams when they leverage the system to its full advantage. So for that reason, I've structured this demo around specific successes that I have seen with Sage CRM systems. And by the end of this demonstration, I hope you'll feel compelled to reach out to DataQuest and learn how we can help you with your implementation. So the goal of this demo is to really help you picture a theme, which is getting value from building better systems. So your company might already be really successful to this point. The fact that you're watching this demo means you're interested in some ways to grow your success, and you see how a CRM system could be part of that. So I've seen how DataQuest can be the missing piece in using Sage CRM to help companies break through the next level of success. So that's what I'm going to really focus on, is how that actually works and how Sage CRM can be a part of that. So to give you a sense of what we're going to cover, I'll start with the top 5 ways to use your Sage CRM system. In our experience, these are the tools that Sage CRM really has a lot of strength in that I've seen deployed really successfully. We will look at some dashboards and reporting as a way to sort of get a sense of how do you start your day, or how do you get started when you log into CRM? What's the information that's right there for you? And then we'll talk about a couple of specific examples. So we'll talk about leveraging Sage CRM to win sales opportunities, how it can help you improve your customer service with cases. And we can talk a little bit about the ways that you can integrate Sage CRM with a Sage ERP product. And finally, how one of the main goals of any CRM system is to really help improve communications, both between you and your customers, vendors, and prospects, but also within your internal teams, so that there's clarity and transparency around where our customers are in their journey, for example. So let's start with the top 5 uses of Sage CRM, in my opinion. Okay, so the top 5 ways to use your Sage CRM system is actually a post on our site, and we have an active blog, so you can check it out. We really try to educate and inform about our products, so it's very active, fun to check out. So the number one use that I think is really prospecting and forecasting. So there's all this automated statistics that Sage CRM does as you've got your entire sales team entering opportunities, doing some forecasting as to those opportunities, gauging their certainty, and then tracking their close dates. So when sales team use Sage CRM for opportunities, prospecting, and forecasting, they really get a lot of success because you can measure how we're doing in the sales process. Your leader has the ability to sort of manage everybody's pipeline, and the salespeople themselves really get a greater sense of control because you've got a system in place that really helps. So another useful tool that we've got here is documenting B2B relationships. So you can see here we're looking at an example of a relationships tab within the context of a specific company. And it's structured, now you can configure this, but it's structured in terms of parents, siblings, and children, which the hierarchy there is pretty intuitive. You can structure these however you want, but it gives you the ability to make these relationships really clear in a nice visual way. So if you've got ownership, suppliers, owners of, you can document all those really easily in CRM. Another option is that you can store all the key documents there. So there's essentially one place to look for the important documents. And we've got a nice ability to, if you combine Sage CRM with something called Sage Alerts and Workflow or Knowledge Sync, you can even do things like track expiration dates. If you're tracking all of your contracts in Sage CRM, you can be notified 30, 60, 90 days before those contracts expire and know that the Sage CRM is like the central repository of those documents. Workflow is essential. It can be used for the sales process for opportunities, but also for customer complaints or issues, also known as cases. And workflow really helps make it clear where each person is in the process. If you've got to define a process, we can codify that with workflow. It's easy to follow and very visual. If you don't have a defined process, we can help listen and understand what you'd like your process to be and implement something that's either very simple and straightforward, easy to deploy, or has high levels of complexity to match whatever is appropriate for your company. The last main use of CRM is really to improve communication. So this is really why people do it, is that we know we want to keep better track of what's been happening with our prospects, our customers, or our vendors, but for whatever reason, we're not doing it. So we will show you how to use Sage CRM to improve communication in cooperation with a tool called Accelerator, published by CRM Together, that really helps hinge sort of all the activities you're doing in Outlook with the fact that a lot of those activities should be leveraged and clear and communicated to other users of the CRM system by getting them into CRM. So Accelerator helps make that possible, and I'll show you how to do that too. So those are our top 5 uses. So the next thing we're going to talk about are dashboards. You saw at the beginning of our demo that I'm logged into Sage CRM and I've got a dashboard view right now. So this is a system administrator dashboard. This gives me access to the help files, it gives me links over to the Sage community forums, and it's really meant as a technical resource for folks who would be in my position or a system administrator position, but that you could use for any power user on your team. The idea with dashboards is that we're looking at the big picture of any KPIs that will help me make decisions or even to start my day. So we'll go from dashboards into reports, and I'll show you how those are linked. But right now, I just want to show you the several of the dashboards that actually just ship with Sage CRM. So when you get it installed, you'll actually see this. This is part of the demo data that you're seeing here. But these you can use, you can edit these templates and build on these. So these are showing me a couple things. So each one of these dashboard objects is a widget. So I'm looking at what is the monthly sales trend. I can see I had a spike in May, and then it's been going down. I can look at actuals versus target with this gauge graphic, which is really nice. It gives me the ability to see my actual revenue compared to my forecast for my opportunities. Now remember, we're looking at sales KPIs for managers, so I'm really focused on that context. I can look at the pipeline for all the opportunities in my system right now. I can see any open activities that are happening based on the day, any at-risk customers, and my leaderboard for who's winning the deals. So like I said, these are all configurable, but this is one of the templates that comes out of the box and gives us the ability to have a nice solid starting point with some good ideas that you can build on. Now, each one of these can launch reports, and you can do drill down to get to more detail based on what you're interested in at that moment. So the way we're going to structure this is we're going to look at several different dashboards. We're going to look at the reports behind them, and then we'll go into greater detail in terms of what do the opportunities look like in Sage CRM, what do the customer service areas look like, then we'll talk about the integration and communications. But we're sort of starting at the top to say, how can I synthesize all this data that is in the system? So we're sort of starting by looking at some of those graphics and looking at the visuals that help give us a sense of, okay, now I know how to go deeper into the thing that I'm looking at. Let's look at another dashboard to give you a sense of a customer service example. So I just loaded customer service dashboard. The way these work is you can assign these dashboards to certain users if you're a system administrator. So each user can have an appropriate dashboard or an appropriate way to kind of start. So looking at the customer service dashboard, what I'm seeing here are two gadgets that are related. So we're looking at my cases. And then if I select this case, you can see that the details respond to the one that I've selected. Same here. So I can basically have these gadgets respond and react to each other. I can also look at lists. These end up launching different reports. If I'm concerned about cases opened by company, I can actually launch this. This takes me to the reporting area, and I can just see this at a glance. I can see cases that are open at my companies. I can see 3G Homes has the most cases, and then we've got Alderman's, Keytronic, and Train that are about the same level. And then I can actually look at these details at a high level of each of the cases, click on them if I need to drill into them. So super nice graphic, easy visual. I'm showing you what's built into the system. You're not looking at a lot of customization here. These tools are built in to help you grow and use what already exists. So these are all of these gadgets that you're seeing that make up this dashboard are actually fed by reports. So we've looked at dashboards. You've seen a couple of examples of some of the sort of slick features that just come out of the box that show me at a high level from a manager's perspective the KPIs for opportunities, as well as some interesting customer service dashboard statistics that help me get a sense of where my areas of risk and opportunity are at a high level. So like I said, these are based on reports. So each one of these gadgets is actually responding to a report. So let's actually look there, and then, like I mentioned, we'll go into a little deeper to see opportunities, cases, and more. So if I go to reports, and for example, I want to look at any sales reports, these are again built into Sage CRM. So these are a starting point. A power user can modify and adapt these, or look at them, engage with the assumptions and logic and SQL views behind them, and build something similar that's appropriate for your company. So let's look at a couple of different reports, for example. So if we launch my open opportunities, I'm going to just run this in the screen. I have the ability to export these to Excel or to PDF, but I can see what's happening with my open opportunities here. I get this nice bar graph, and then I get a summary below it that gives me the actual numbers, and then I can see the description level for each one of these, as well as the grand total. The thing that's useful to see sometimes is how do these link to the dashboard gadget. So let's say I build a report. How do I get this to show up in the dashboard? What is the link there? So let's just do an example for opportunity status by rep. So instead of just clicking the name here to launch it, I'm going to open this in edit mode, and I can see a little more interesting information about this report. So I've got a source view selected. This tells me the SQL view that drives the report. And I can see essentially the report contents, any search criteria, the sort on, so it's being sorted on to whom the opportunity is assigned, and it's being grouped by status. So the sort of essential item here is that I'm just stepping through the report configuration, and in order to make any report visible on the dashboard, I just tick this box. If I want to show a chart, I tick the chart box. So it's really easy to configure and link these, and then when you are in the context of creating a dashboard and you want to add a report, you make this report available, and then you can just add it to your dashboard gadget. So by this information, you can see that Reports drive dashboards. Dashboards can be used by different types of team members, and then those dashboards can then help you launch a report or help you drill into a specific inquiry, and can be a really good place to kind of start to get information about what is happening in your CRM system. The idea here is that the managers are getting the information they need so that they're not always asking salespeople or customer service people to spend time creating reports. Those folks are working in CRM, and that information is being automatically collated, summarized, and grouped in a way that makes it easy for the manager to digest and then act upon. So you can imagine how much time that would save if you're not constantly asking for custom reports, but can instead build them, leveraging the data that's being fed into the system every day. So our next step is to drill into my CRM and to look at some opportunities. So we're going to look at the sales side, and then after that, we'll look at the customer service side. So one reasonable place to start, we just looked at dashboards as a potential launch pad. That might be appropriate for a sales manager. Now, if I'm a salesperson and my job every day is to really work my opportunity pipeline, it's maybe more appropriate for me to start at this My CRM opportunities level. So right now, I'm looking at a screen that could conceivably be a login screen for a salesperson. I log in, it says My CRM for, and then the logged in user, that's me, and then boom, I've got my opportunity pipeline, as well as these automatically collated statistics. These just automatically tick up or down based on the opportunities that I have in my pipeline. So at a glance, I can see the count of my opportunities, the forecast, the real forecast, the weighted forecast where it's based on my certainty, as well as the averages below that. All of these stages of the opportunity workflow process are color-coded, so I can see those here. And then below this, I can actually see the details. You can actually see how this format kind of mimics the reports I was running earlier, where there's a graphic element on top to help visually convey the summarized information, and then details are explained further below. So there's a real design consistency that makes it easy and helpful to navigate through the system. So we've just seen how we can use these dashboards, but the idea with opportunities is that we want to get the full value out of the marketing, prospecting work we're doing, trade shows we're attending. And when you've got strong systems in place, it helps keep the sales team organized. It also helps our brand reputation, and it helps managers understand where we are with forecasting in the sales process. So right now we're looking at, like I said, my CRM. We've got a status filter here. If I want to see all, I can change the filter and I can see all the opportunities that I've had. But the idea here is that it's defaulting to in progress, so I see essentially the active ones. The idea here and the vision is that none of your leads or opportunities are wasted or ignored. So you're getting the full value out of all the marketing and prospecting that you're doing. So at this point, I'm looking at sort of the big picture, but what if I really want to dig in or perhaps update an existing opportunity? So I'm just going to click on this top one, and this is going to take me to this opportunity summary. You can decide what you want to show on this screen. We'll work with you to define the fields and the field types and the screen look and feel that's needed for you. But just understand that when I'm looking at an opportunity, I'm really capturing the most information about that, the most important information about that opportunity. And critically, I have the ability to move this opportunity through a workflow, update my forecast, update my certainty based on where I am in the sales process. So right now, the current state is demo. Maybe at this point, the demo is sold. So I can say that it was sold. I can realize my forecast went up a bit. And now my current state is sold. So let's see. So you'll see how I changed that and how I changed the forecast. And that's then reflected in my CRM opportunities. So we'll take a look at that. So my forecast has gone up. So let's actually show now how to create a new opportunity. So I can launch this from the My CRM area in opportunities. I'm going to choose the company against which I have this opportunity. So now I've got the opportunity entered in CRM. Pretty straightforward. At this moment, it becomes part of workflow. Workflow, like you saw in the top 5 ways to use your Sage CRM system, is one of the most useful parts of Sage CRM. In part because it helps me as a salesperson get information into the system so the system can kind of keep track of everything that's going on, and B, because it can help me with long sales cycles or unpredictable sales cycles, keep track of where everybody is in the process. So this is, again, the default workflow. This can be configured to match the needs of your company. I'm landing this in a state of lead, but I have the ability to do any of these things. Qualify it, submit the proposal, perhaps reassign it to a more appropriate team member. Let's say I qualify it to sort of accept it, and now it's qualified. So at this point, perhaps I'm in a negotiating stage, and I may choose my forecast. And I have these other options. Maybe there's a cross-sell opportunity. I can note the proposal was submitted. I can sell it, reassign it to someone else. Let's say I leave it at proposal submitted. I'll leave my forecast. Maybe I'll put it at 70%. And I can move through these stages with both, which flags this opportunity with where I am in the process, and also gives me the ability to look at this from a high level view. So picture that you've got 25 or 30 opportunities that you're responsible for. As long as you're periodically checking in here and keeping them up to date, Sage CRM essentially keeps track of these for you so that you have the ability to, for example, say, okay, today I'm going to log in, I'm going to go to this screen where I see my opportunities that I've been keeping track of. And the thing I really should do is look at all the ones that are in that stage of lead. Great, I've got these 4 opportunities. This is what I'm going to be working today. So it gives you the ability to have much better control over the process as you go through your sales process. So that's really what I want to touch on in terms of opportunities. You've sort of seen how we can use my CRM, look at the opportunities available to me, look at all of them or filter them, then just easily enter a new opportunity and get that attached to workflow. At that point, you can use workflow to progress the opportunity through the workflow stages that you deem appropriate, and then have the ability to close it, reassign it, sell it. If you lose it, flag it that way as well, so that you have the opportunity to learn from the ones that we lost, understand why, and make our sales process stronger. All of this is really meant to meet the main theme of this demonstration, which is getting value from building better systems. If you can picture this, the goal is that your salespeople are spending much more time using their gifts and less time writing reports or asking somebody in AR for data, that they're using these better systems to help increase the number of calls that they can make in a day and increase the amount of exposure that they have to your prospects and customers. Okay, let's talk about cases. So another element of the business is likely taking care of customer service questions or complaints. So just like we saw in my CRM that I have a sales area, I also have a cases area. So some of the really strongest customer service teams I've seen, they log in here, this is the work list. Our goal is to provide great service and understand how the caseload is being distributed and make sure that we're handling both our customer service team members fairly, but also really communicating and providing excellent service to our customers. The idea here and the vision I want you to have is how using this tool can help your customer service team be systematic about handling the calls that come in. So we'll have a way to keep track of any lingering or unresolved issues, and also a way to quantify the success of cases that are closed. And this is similar to opportunities in that you can use workflow to drive the behaviors that support your customer service mission. Just the same way that workflow in the opportunities entity can help codify your sales process and codify the way that you prefer to do business, the cases workflow can do the same thing by kind of helping make sure that we're really keeping good care of our customers. So let's look at my CRM cases. Now, this should look familiar because we looked at this for opportunities, but I want to take this a little bit in a different direction and show you Team CRM for cases. Now, this exists for opportunities as well, but I just want to show you something new. So Team CRM can show me cases, and this is a view that shows me all the cases for my team. So if I'm the customer service manager, I'm responsible for all of the cases that my team is handling. I wouldn't necessarily need to worry about my CRM cases, but I would definitely want to look at Team CRM for customer service and see all the cases that my team is working on right now. The nice thing about this is that you can really use this graphically. So I can even use this pipeline and just click on the green part of the pipeline to say, okay, I'd just like to see the cases where they are just flagged as queued. That probably means that they're in my system, but no one is really actively working on them just yet, or they've just been in a space where we need to get started on them. So I can still manage this here with my status in Sage, perhaps investigating again as another opportunity to follow up with the people on my team and say, okay, we're investigating. Is there anything we need to do to move this along? It gives you a higher level view as a manager to the status of the cases that your team is working on. So let's actually look at a case. So I'm just going to click on this one. This takes me to the case. Again, you'll see that sort of consistent look and feel in terms of how the data are presented. This looks similar to the way my opportunity looked, right? I've got high-level information on top that shows me the case. I can see for whom the case is created, any details, and then kind of the status. And the opportunities are laid out the same way. So this is similar in that I can create the fields and screens that really respond to my needs. I can move these through a workflow process. You can see this one is in the state of investigating. Maybe I'm now waiting on the customer, so I want to make a comment there. Okay, so as you're moving these along, you can add comments and sort of help tell the story of what's happening with each case. One of the things that's true both for cases and for opportunities is that each time you move the case or the opportunity through a different workflow state, you're actually updating the tracking. So I can see a time-stamped record of where this case has been, when it was created, when it's been changed. You can even see the note that I just added. Tracking note is waiting on customer. So I really have the ability to see a lot of information if I want to drill into it, but at the summary level, and then even stepping back at that My CRM cases level, one step further back at the dashboard level, I can really drill into this with a lot of detail if I want, but it all feeds into the summary level at the highest level. So we just stepped through a process of really looking at all the cases that were assigned to everybody on my team. So starting at that team CRM level, analyzing the records and the states of workflow that each of those cases were in. And then we just clicked on a case to look at an example. So we just looked at a record easily and saw how advancing that case through workflow timestamps it and adds a tracking note so that I can see how that case has changed over time. And like I said, I just want to emphasize this is also true for opportunities, that you have this workflow and tracking ability. So we have entire teams that really use this, my CRM or team CRM, go through their cases and really work those cases. What that means is that your work is not inbox driven, it's customer driven. So using Sage CRM here really leverages workflow, drives those behaviors that support your customer service mission, and help you get value from building better systems. Now I want to show you another element of Sage CRM. We have two more major elements that you'll want to see. One is looking at integration, so integration with your Sage ERP system. And another element is improving communications, because that's really the bottom line with your CRM system. So let's talk a little bit about integration, and then we'll wrap up with communications. What I'm going to do here is perform a search. I'm going to be looking for a specific customer. So this is a customer that's integrated with my Sage ERP system. There are multiple Sage ERP systems that Sage CRM can integrate with. Sage 300 ERP or Sage X3, also known as Enterprise Management or EM, are two examples. This system that we're looking at right now is integrated with Sage X3 or Sage Enterprise Management EM. So I start by just looking at the company summary here. Now, just as a note, this company could have opportunities or cases against it. Okay. But let's look at the summary level. And the thing that's specific or unique to company records that are integrated with your Sage ERP system is that they get a little more information. So, and that's all provided by the integration. So, for example, we've got the folder name. This is a Sage Enterprise Management specific element, and their customer number. So we've also got groupings that are associated with this. And if I look at the business partners area, I can see some summary information that describes this customer from the Sage EM point of view. For example, the currency, the sales representative, and the credit level total. The other nice thing here, and this is often useful, especially for salespeople, is that I can do an order inquiry. So I can see the history of their orders. I don't have to go bug someone on the AR team. I can actually just look at it. So let's look at this order. And I can see details about this order here that are stored in Sage EM. I can even look at the item. So if I click on this item, I get really specific item level detail, the ship site, location details, cost and price information that's really specific to this item. And then I can float back up to order details to see the specific order, or float back up to order list to see those orders associated with this customer. I can also do things that might typically live in Sage EM or your Sage ERP system. So that would include creating a quote, getting the most updated pricing that's from your Sage EM system, or create a quote and promote it to an order. You can do all these activities from within Sage CRM. You can really just make that happen, keep people in CRM, and keep all the information about that customer. So quotes, orders, activity, ordering history, all within Sage CRM, with the added benefit that it really shows you everything in context. So by that I mean you're looking at the 360-degree view of the customer. You've got not only their summary information, which you can customize, but also any opportunities, any cases, any people that work that we need to profile. We can see that all in Sage CRM as the single point of truth about your customers, vendors, and prospects. So the reason this is important, and the reason I emphasize the values of integration, is that talking intelligently with your customers and vendors and prospects about the status of the account is really critical. Like, you can't afford to look foolish or unknowledgeable to the customer about the status of their account. If you have the ability to sort of glance at Sage CRM, see what's happening from a business point of view before visiting them or calling on them, you have a huge advantage and you look competent and that you're a valuable asset to them. So for this information, we're really trying to give you up-to-the-minute information about what's happening, both from a CRM, sales, marketing, cases point of view, but also your Sage ERP system, so you can see if there are any financial matters that you need to be aware of. So can you see how these tools would help you build credibility and help you process questions more quickly with your customers if you could see everything in Sage CRM at once? So we're going to wrap up with really the backbone of Sage CRM is really their communications. So we're going to navigate. I'm going to use my recent button here, and I'm going to navigate to another company in CRM. And we're going to talk a little bit about the communications themselves. So what I want you to picture is widespread user adoption where it is effortless for your team to get information into CRM. Most of our customers use a tool called Accelerator by CRM Together because it really manages to be a hinge between all the activity in Outlook and all the activity that you need to be in Sage CRM for your CRM system to be as meaningful as possible. So just think about it. If your team were able to easily add communications to CRM, we could really see the big picture before calling on a customer. Helps us look informed about their day-to-day needs and can even stave off maybe a potentially difficult situation if there is any problems at the customer. So let's look at the result, and then I'll show you how we get that result. So this is an example of a customer where I'm really seeing how the relationship has changed over time. So I'm starting from earlier in the year. I call to introduce myself. Then we've got meetings. Then we talk about requirements. Okay, we've got to reschedule. Then we do a demo. We do an April campaign promotion. By this point, we're doing business together. And then at some point, we even send them a collections letter on the account. So this is really tracking just the key moments in the relationship with this customer that I can see really easily just by logging communications. So yes, you can do this within the desktop UI. But one of the reasons that we think Accelerator is a good tool here is that you're really getting better user adoption if you can just jump this from Outlook, where a lot of your communication might have already happened, and get it into Sage CRM easily. So I'm going to wrap up and show you that, and then close on how you can really get the best value from building better systems. So right now we're looking at Outlook, and you can see I've got this Accelerator panel open. So what Accelerator does is it creates a link between your Sage CRM session and your Outlook instance, and it at a moment can look up any of the emails in your inbox. So I'm using this one as my from address, and it looks that person up in Sage CRM. Okay, if there's a match, it presents that information here. If there's not a match on the specific email address or the specific domain, you have the ability to just immediately create a new company or a person in CRM, but within this window. So it keeps things really easy and contained for folks who live a lot in Outlook. So you probably already noticed this, but I can just file the selected email to CRM with this button. If I want to add any notes or any additional information, I just say okay, and Accelerator goes and looks up this person's record, files it in CRM against her. Easy. So it's something that lives in your inbox, but makes it really easy to just populate Sage CRM kind of behind the scenes. So I also have the ability to tie this all together and think through how to populate my CRM system, not just with emails that I get from my customers, but with something like adding a new opportunity, which puts me in the new opportunity screen. Okay, boom, I've got an opportunity created just from this email. And by the same token, I can also create a new case just from this email. So that's why we really think Accelerator helps tie this whole experience together and helps you get the most value of your system, because it's really linking where you are frequently in Outlook with the big picture system, tying it all together, which is Sage CRM. So what I really hope that I showed you, and really the goal of this demonstration, was to help you see how Sage CRM can help you get value from building better systems. Let's go back to our dashboard, kind of where we began, so you can see this and see it visually. So we started by talking about dashboards and how they can be a launch pad for what I need to do that day, what I need to be thinking about as a manager, and how those are driven by reports, which ship with a lot of very useful data in them, but can also be configured, to how I can use my system for opportunity tracking, helping keep my sales team on point and help give them the tools they need to use their gifts and succeed, to how I can use my CRM and team CRM for cases to really look at what are the customer service issues I'm having? How can I learn and grow and improve by keeping track of my cases and normalizing that experience in CRM? We talked about integration, so you can see the value of both seeing your Sage ERP data at the customer level and then also interacting with it and creating new quotes and orders, even being able to see information about that customer status, all within the context of Sage CRM. And then we closed by looking at communications and showing how incredibly valuable it is to have communications stored at that company level so that anyone who's using the system can really see what they need to see, so they have access to clear and transparent information about what our status is with our customers. So what I'd really like you to think about is how you could get value from building better systems at your organization, whether that's getting more information into the Sage CRM system, to thinking through workflows that would really codify or even improve an existing process, to how using Accelerator can help really make the leap from I'm kind of using CRM to CRM is completely integrated with my day-to-day work and flows. At the start of the demonstration, I mentioned that even doing your research and even watching this demonstration is a sign of a growth mindset. It's a sign that you believe you have the ability to improve and grow and use Sage CRM as a lever for that. And I really think that's true. I hope this gave you a sense of how you could get more value by building better systems. So I challenge you to turn that into concrete action and give us a call and find out if we can help your business grow with Sage CRM. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.